As always, I want to thank you for coming to another session with Gerocise with Mark. If you will, this time I want you to close your eyes, sit up straight, hands across the chest, arms across the chest. Take a deep breath. It's your time to meditate, to relax, and to release anything that's troubling you right now. Any kind of brokenness, any kind of barrier, any kind of burden, any kind of trouble, turmoil, any kind of sadness, any kind of struggle. Just relax. Take your mind off anything that's worrying you or has been worrying you. Deep breath. It's your time to think about godly, healthy, and holy things. Of course, the thoughts that we have help to dictate our actions and our words that we express. So we have healthy thoughts, godly thoughts, and holy thoughts. There's a good chance that we'll have healthy, godly, and holy outcomes, our actions, and our words that we express to people. I like to say, think about your blessings and not your burdens. Relax. Relax. It's easy to get bogged down with the troubles of life. Deep breath. Deep breath. Meditate. I like to say, I want you to say to yourself, and out loud, to say to yourself, I am maximizing my moment. This morning we'll be talking about trust, love, and respect. You guys will just going over today's topic. Trust, love, and respect. Last week we talked about helping others. Took it from the Luke 10, the Bible, and talking about the prodigal son. Today I want to talk about trust, love, and respect. Three key components in anyone's life. It's a matter of taking an introspective look and building intrapersonally trust, love, and respect before you can build interpersonally with others. Trust, love, and respect. Another deep breath. Say to yourself again, I am maximizing my moment. flexibility and mobility. Paramount. Yes, I know the brain has to kick in.
Yeah.
Ain't no need of as high as you can. Left arm, right leg, right arm, left leg. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Coordination. Coordination. There you go. There you go now. There you go. There you go.
Wrong one.
So take your time. Take your time. You're not a rush. I mean, think about it. What you're doing right now, basically, you're doing this.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about it. Instead of doing this.
You need that arm for balance.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
okay. Bring the right arm up, left leg up. Your right arm up, bring the right arm up, left leg. There you go. Okay, all right. Okay, last week, and I was hoping Mr. Dean would be here again.
I'm gonna call him chicken when I see him. I saw him this morning. You saw him? Yeah. Walking.
I guess, I mentioned to him last week that he was going to start him off today. As a topic, so I guess he decided to chicken out. So, but anyway, so a couple weeks ago I showed you how to do a couple of exercises on the floor. And basically, the one was like, you go like this, here, and here. Okay? The other one was like, basically like this, take it out, cross your legs, take it out. Other one was when you 30 degree, 45, 60, 90, back to 30, 45, 60, 90. The other one was the jackknife, where you just take it out, back in, out, in, okay? The other one was, the other three I'm about to show you now is what's called the half bicep, I guess you could say. You know, I mean, sometimes you do it like this, but I prefer to just keep it static, just like that. Yeah. Okay. So you got those. Like I said, you can do it on a hard surface preferably, but if you have to do it in the bed, that's fine too. And I'm sweating already. Okay. Granted, I just worked out before I got here, so that's why I'm probably still sweating like I got out of the shower. But what's the other? Oh, I call this the scrunch, where you do this, you go out, you bring it in, thank you. Well, I appreciate that.
I couldn't do that.
But of course, before you go to the old crunch like this, or the regular sit up like that, but if you want to get fancy. Okay. And let me see. You got that one. And one last one. Oh yeah. Where you just sit here and you just do this. 45, 60, 45, 60, 45, 60, 45, and 60. And so doing different sets of those, you building up the core muscles in your stomach. So, this is FYI. And eventually, God's will, when we stand right here, eventually we'll
I was going to try one thing.
You want to try right now? Come on.
Yeah. I got put it down on the floor.
Let's give it a shot. Give it a shot. I'll bring it to you. The good thing about it, showing you different exercises, do it.
Back out here to get up.
Oh, that's fine. Take your time.
Because I got the modification needs.
I know.
Yeah.
Take your time. Let's give it a hand. Let's try. All right, what do you want to do?
Let me see. What was this here you said?
You want to do the last one?
I think you said, yeah. This work?
you're doing the last one, you're doing this, bringing it up, okay? Here, up, here, up, here, keep going. There you go.
We win.
You better call it yourself.
Yeah, win. Okay.
Let's try another.
Okay.
Okay. Bring these up. Okay. All the way up. There you go. Take it out. Bring it in. Open. Okay. Yeah. That's fine. Open. Close. And back to your chest. Okay. Out. There you go. Back to your chest. There you go. Out. Good job. Working those muscles, those stomach muscles. Good job. Lean on me. Are you going to No?
She gonna get it.
Okay. Good job. Good job. So, like I said, I want to talk about trust, love, and respect this morning. You okay? Yeah. All right. Trust, love, and respect. And basically, the reason I want to talk about that because I'm finding out, of course, I'm working on the crisis line, and I'm finding out more and more people who call in, they're really having trouble with trust and loving and respecting themselves. If you think about it, if you took any kind of sharp object to your wrist or wherever, and you're inflicting that pain, there's definitely lack of love, but there's also a lack of respect. And some people, what's going on is that they're, like I said, in order to show love to someone else, I think it's important that you love yourself first. And I think, to be honest with you, if you even from the scriptural standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint, it talks about, like husband loving your wives as yourself. That indicates to me, right, something different. That indicates to me that a love for yourself takes place and takes precedence first. And I always say, how can you expect somebody to love you, respect you, or trust you if you're having a hard time loving, trusting, and respecting yourself? That's me. Feedback. Anybody? Talk. It's open. Talk about it. Let's talk. Trust, love, and respect. And they're just words that, we don't, they aren't big words, but they're really the basis of life to me. Yeah.
I mean, love, to me, love has different colors and shapes and sizes. I don't need to indulge myself to tell myself I love myself.
Right.
Because if I'm indulging myself, to me, that's that's a negative form of self-love.
Okay.
But if I'm respecting myself, not doing harm,
Right.
but doing things that empower me, that feed my spirit. Like I said, if I didn't know that God loved me as much as I do, I wouldn't love myself in a correct way, And to me, loving myself means I cannot allow you to continue to disrespect me.
Right.
So if you aren't able to stop, then I need to put a stop to it. myself, not by harming you,
Right, right.
but if necessary, removing myself from the situation.
Yes. Yes.
But I just wonder, you know, like you say, if, let's say we start off as parents, if we don't love ourselves, then we really can't love our children in a healthy way, or demonstrate healthy love
Right.
to the children. And so people grow up feeling that void, and they pass it on.
Oh, yeah. It becomes a cycle.
Yeah,
It's a cycle.
it becomes a cycle.
Yeah.
So that when you're talking about what you're saying, that's what I'm thinking about. If I don't have it to give, I can't give it.
Right, right.
So it's, you know, and so when people start mutilating themselves or, you know, doing things so that they can't think anymore, you know, whatever form of poison they choose,
Right.
just to not be a reality. You know, that's not love.
Well, put it this way, and well, like Mr. Dean, I wanted to talk to him last week, and I posed that question to him. I think along the line of trust, you know, and because I sense that he had a hard time trusting people because maybe he's been burned before. That's why I wanted to address that as well.
Yeah.
But I did receive a call recently, and this lady was telling me that her quote-unquote boyfriend, who she loves so much, treated her like a dog. You know, I mean, basically, you know, she had to go to work, he would hide the keys. He talked to her, called her all kind of B's and W's, and yet still, you know, and she had a little son, and yet still, she said it goes back to a lot of them think that they can fix people.
They can't.
No, I told the lady, I said, look, well, first of all, you can only control yourself.
Right.
You cannot control anybody else. When people do what they want to do, they do it because they want to do it. And you cannot change anybody. He or she decides to change himself or herself.
Right.
Period.
Right.
I mean, and so you can try to be the best influence. But bottom line is, you can only control you and nobody else. Period. So, I encouraged her. I said, look, from this day forward, I want you to tell yourself that you have purpose, you have worth. I want you to start loving yourself, trusting yourself, and respecting yourself. And more importantly, I want you to just develop a healthy relationship with yourself and let you know that you are worthwhile. Period. Because right now, from what you told me, you've had feelings of worthlessness, helplessness, and hopelessness. And you think that you're in a situation where there's no out.
Right.
So I gave her some referrals to say, look, because chances are it's going to get worse.
I have a problem with that.
With loving and trusting.
I think mine stems from being abused.
Right.
And I think too that I brought it in to my children also because I have a hard time to trust it.
Trusting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I can understand that.
And I have a hard time. I just, recently, I guess that I've been I should have last 5 years maybe. I just really started accepting me for who I am and loving me.
Right.
Because
And you're 63, right? 64. 65. Okay. Remember a couple weeks ago I said 75. See. So for 60 years you had struggles with trust, love, and respect.
Because, even though I really loved my second husband,
Right.
but then I think what I consider love was
Question then. So between the first and second, how long did you keep up that barrier? Because what you experienced from your first husband impacted your relationship with your second husband. I'm just wondering, how long did you keep up that barrier to finally just let it go, where you could fully trust, or at least 3/4?
My husband was the type of person that would tell me all the time that I was worth it. He's not courteous. He would tell me all the time, I'm not your first husband.
Okay.
I'm not going to mistreat you.
Right, right.
I'm going to love and respect you. He said, don't treat me like, he said, don't be afraid of me.
Right, right.
Like you was.
Right, right.
He said, I am not that person.
Yes.
I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. So, it took me a long time to talk to her.
Well, think about it. I mean, you were so traumatized to the point where it's like, okay, who, somebody who says they love me, or he loves me, or she loves me, but treats me like this.
And I was asking him all the time, you know, look at him, look kind of stuff, and he look at him. Are you for real?
Right.
I used to ask him that. Are you for real? And so he said, what do you mean for real? I said, you out here, you treat me nice, because this is what I really get.
Right.
And he said, I like what I see.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said, what you see ain't me. So he said, yes it is. He said, somebody just going to hurt you. I said, and you know, get out all offensive.
Right, right.
And the wall was up.
Oh, yeah.
And he kept on. You're good. You're good.
Right.
He said, you're a good person. He said, your heart is in the right place and all that. And I said, yeah, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But then, eventually, we would sit down and he would just let me open up and talk to him. And he would sit there and he would listen. And, you know, sometimes I would hear tears, you know. He said, but you got to remember, I'm not that person.
Right, right, right.
He said, I want you to first accept who you are before we go into this marriage in any kind of way. He said, I don't care how long it takes.
Right.
I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I said, yeah, you wait on me that long, however long it takes. He said, because the first thing you got to learn, he's coming first, is that you got to love yourself first.
Right, right.
He said, and then when you do that, then you'll start breaking down some of the walls. But, yeah, eventually, I think I did. Because he was actually, he was really, really, he loved me.
Okay.
He loved me.
And how was that feeling? I mean, think about it. You go from a, and another thing I like to tell folks, I want to, I call it, I can't think of it right now. But anyway, going from fear to love. And you know, those are opposites. They don't mesh. It's like light and dark. Think about it. You went from fear to love. And how was that?
You know, sometimes.
Deliverance. I call it deliverance.
Yeah. Sometimes he used to, I guess, he didn't mean anything. Sometimes he would just raise his hand up like that and I would dodge. And he looked at me, he said, baby, every time I raise my hand, every time I go to hug you,
Right.
you back,
Yeah.
you know. And I did that for quite some time.
Right.
But he was always there. He was always telling me, you're worth something.
Yes.
You're worth something. And he kept on, he was the type of person, and he said, and then sometimes he would just pick me and just hug.
Just love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hold me really like, just let go. You gotta let go.
Right.
He said, love me for me.
Yeah.
And then love yourself. And so eventually I kind of let back, my defensive down, not a whole lot, but quite a bit after we were married for about 14 years. Then I became comfortable.
Okay. Yeah.
And he would look at me and he would tell me, oh, you're so pretty. he would look at me and say, I like what you got on.
Right.
I like the way you look. But then one time he made the mistake of, he closed the door on me. And I had told him, don't close the door on me.
Right.
Because I had crossed the floor.
Okay.
And my mind went back to being put in.
And then, yes. When you were in, okay.
Yeah.
False job.
Yeah.
Right.
And he closed the door. And I kept telling him, please don't close that door. Don't close the door. And he thought I was playing, but he was playing.
Right.
But I wasn't playing.
No.
I wasn't playing.
No.
So I flew into him and knocked that door down, and him too. but you talk about a 6'7" man, a big man.
Right.
And he looked at me like, wow.
Oh, she's for real.
He says, I would never do that again.
Yeah.
He said, forgive me. He says, I would never, ever do that to you again. He said, because you should have seen you. He said, you will actually hurt somebody. I said, you know who I saw? I said, I saw Curtis. I said, I saw Curtis. And now, like I am now, I try not to get to that point.
Right.
Because I'm a firm believer in God. And I know that He has changed me, but I noticed something about me a few days ago that somebody had approached me in the wrong way. And it takes a lot for me.
Right.
It takes a whole lot for me to handle. And for that person to have, I trusted, and I thought that, she's here, and I thought that you were my friend. I thought you knew me well enough not to approach me the way that you did.
Right.
And of course, that came out.
Yeah.
And when I saw you, I saw Curtis. And I immediately started doing, breathing. And then I just asked God, help me.
Right.
I need your help. So I just started saying, Jesus. And I backed away. But it's not going. Because I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm working on me with the help of God.
Right. Well, you said, you had 60 years pinned up, stress, pinned up struggle, and it just took you, what you said, the last 5 years really just start accepting yourself as Miss Alberta? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't go away overnight, you know? I mean,
and see now, it's like they take my kindness for weakness.
right, your meekness for weakness, yeah.
Yeah. And I have got humble,
Right,
you know. And it's not me, it's Almighty God.
right.
And when I feel tension, you know, I choose to remove myself
Okay.
from that situation. And so far I can say, you know, for myself, I love me.
That's good.
I'm loving me.
That's good.
I'm respecting me. And I feel good about it.
No, I mean, that's again, I call it deliverance from fear. I call that from fear to freedom. That's what I call it. Yeah, deliverance from fear to freedom. And
I wish my daughter was here.
to be a part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She needs this.
Well, where is she right now?
She's at work.
At work. Okay. She might be able to catch one of these episodes on YouTube. And,
Oh, yeah, because she's always on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Because I think by them seeing all the abuse and all of that, I know, I'm not going to say I think,
Right.
I know, even my sons, they have a problem with loving.
Right.
Yeah. Because my daughter, when somebody gets close to her, she, no, she got these defenses.
That barrier, yes.
Yeah.
That's why.
And she, I mean, even loving her kids. If her kids would go to kiss her, she pushes them away, you know.
But you know, and just like Ms. Adams was talking about earlier, about the cycle, you know, hopefully the cycle can be broken soon, you know. I mean, it may take a generation or two, but still, when I say soon, I mean within the next generation or so, you know, or two, or maybe even three, but I'm just saying, hopefully the cycle will be broken and that we'll just say it'll be fresh love, the way love was meant to be, you know. And that's understandable. I mean, what they saw, what they experienced is something that they internalized. It gets to the point where you start saying, wow, this is what it's supposed to be like. And it's...
And my sons, I got one on drugs right now. He's 43. He's been out there for a long time.
Really? Yeah.
But he got mistreated the most.
Right.
Yeah, you know, to the point where his dad would have because he was a tenant, and he might have been a mother's boy, you know, and he was good,
Yeah, right.
And he was tenant, and of course, his dad used to make the other kids put on gloves and fight him, you know, make him fight.
Right.
To the point where when he grew up, you know, he was angry, you know, and fighting or
Yeah.
trouble. And eventually, I guess he went on to college and he told me that he had, you know, went to a party and of course they, you know, how you roll up reefer.
Right.
In that reefer might have been
Put some a little extra in there.
Yeah.
It's just like putting something in somebody's drink, you know?
Yeah. And he never has recovered from it.
Right.
But he goes to rehab. I have been when you know, in practice, I've been rehab. But then I found out that I have to let go.
Yeah.
You know, if you go.
Well, it's probably started draining you.
It was dragging me down.
Right.
And seen it, even though he's trying to cope with his childhood, but, you know, even though he has a family, and I've seen him take some episodes out of family, he doesn't hit him, but there's that verbal.
Right, verbal abuse.
Verbal abuse, yeah.
Which turns into emotional abuse.
Yeah,
Right.
And he will walk away before he will do anything. But he's so angry at his children,
Right.
and it's verbal. So to the point where I watch it, I've been over to his house several times, and I had to take him and just listen and just hold him.
Right.
Listen.
And how old is he?
And Vincent is 41.
Okay.
And he said, don't do that, you know. And I said, listen, you can't keep doing this.
Right.
You gotta get some help.
Right.
And see, his fathers have told him over the years, you don't need no shrink.
Right. And you know something, I'm glad you mentioned that point. That's the point I was just thinking about. Amongst us as blacks, that's been taboo for us for years.
Yeah.
You know, the Lord will get you through. Yeah, we know the Lord will get you through, but there are professionals who can help you get through. You know, I mean, that's been taboo in the black community for a long time. That the shrinks, the counselor, whatever, nothing happened to you any good. That's not true. That's not true. I mean, you never know. I mean, just like these sessions right here. I mean, Dawn has training, I have training. I mean, so yeah, but no, that's been seeing a quote unquote shrink in the black community has always been taboo.
So
Still taboo to this day.
It's good.
Yeah.
And you know, like I tell her, you know, y'all need some help.
Right.
What's wrong with getting some help?
Right.
And Vincent would definitely tell you in a minute, I don't need no strength. I can work it out by myself. But I'm saying, but you can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need some help. You need group therapy.
Yeah.
You need to get this out. I said, because his children do not respect him at all. And they be telling me some things. Our daddy's on child pieces. All granny pieces. And they just talk to him like, you know, they don't give him up.
Right. Let alone respect.
They have no respect for him.
Right. What we just talking about. We're talking about trust, love, and respect.
And that's just like my children. I mean, my children they don't have no respect for their dad at all.
Right. Right.
I mean, and because he has this verbal abuse too,
Right.
and it was because when he was coming up, you know, he was treated the same way.
Right.
But he can try to tell him something, go in one ear, out the other. And to the point where I have even seen him, you know, him fight with my sons. And they don't respect him at all.
Yeah.
And I've seen him curse, you know, wow, they get down very dirty,
Yeah.
you know, but they don't do it around me.
Right.
None of them, they would not do it around me because I didn't stand for it.
Right.
You know. Wow. I be looking at it and I be saying, wow. You know, what did I do? You know, that's the first thing, you know, I say.
Right.
As, wow, what did I do? I did this to you all. Wow. And I feel like, I don't even think I was for you all, I'm sorry.
You okay?
You know, then I started asking myself, did I let this happen? And over the years, they have told me, yeah, you let this happen. But see, during that time, I knew nothing about it, nothing happened. You know?
Right.
I came from an opera and I was always taught, you know,
that, but that's, you know, and then they'll say that that's scripture, but that's not even in the scriptures. And definitely doesn't say anything about the husband going upside a woman's head is probably, no. He said love her as you love yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and so.
But see, I would taught that.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know.
Right.
You know, I didn't know.
Right.
So you know, I mean, if you did the best you could, you shouldn't keep beating yourself up about it. And that's, to me, that's where the forgiveness comes in.
Right.
My parents weren't perfect, so that means I'm not perfect, and my children certainly aren't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you just
But
have
I
to.
have.
Huh?
But I have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you haven't forgiven yourself?
Not fully?
Nothing.
Right.
But see, if you had known better, you think if you had known better, you would have done better? I did the best you knew, right? Okay, so what else can you do if you don't know any different?
But I look at my children the way, you know, treat their children.
If there are adults, there are options for them, and you sharing with them the things that you have gone through to get to the path, to get yourself healthy, you know, let them know what you've been doing, and they have those same options.
True.
But it's easier to stay stuck if that's what if you don't want to.
I don't want to be stuck there.
No, that's what I'm saying. When a person chooses to hold on to all those bad, negative things that are poisonous,
Right.
to me they're afraid of growth.
Right.
And they want to stay stuck because they just get them what they want.
Right.
You know. So if that's what they want.
So I feel like, you know, maybe I just feel like, hey, I'm gonna be better.
Well, it goes back to what I said earlier, I mean, about control. You can only control you, and you raise your children. Now they're raising children, so it's to the point where the umbilical cord has to be cut.
Yeah.
You know, because you did what you could do, but you have your life. You know, they have their lives, and so you know, you couldn't control them then. You know, and you know, well, you can only control yourself. Bottom line, choices we all decide to do. We either make godly, healthy, or holy choices, or ungodly, unhealthy, or unholy choices. That's what we do. And go ahead.
No, I was going to tell you this group session. I am glad that I'm part of the group session because it's making me better every day.
Right.
You know, every time I come, I'm able to
Express.
yeah.
And then get things that off your
And see other women talking, and then to hear, you know, their positive side. You know, it helps me a lot. It tells me, hey, you know, hey.
And no, that's a good segue into, and actually, our next discussion will be about how are these sessions happening. I mean, I've been here a couple months now, I guess, something like that. And the main thing is assuring that they're going to help you, but more importantly, empower you. You know, and so that's what they're all about. But not only you, but helping others. And because like I said, hurt people, helping people, help people. And so eventually you'll be able to help somebody else. That's what it's all about.
Because I've been carrying this for, you know, so long.
Right.
I mean, you know, you start writing a book about it, and then just, you know, how you get discussed and put down, you know, and I didn't feel good about myself at the time. I was right, but I was right.
Right. Well, just like I mentioned a minute ago, part of my book is entitled Deliverance, section of Deliverance from Fear of Freedom, you know, and you know, I mentioned during our meditation, you know, about releasing those shackles, you know, anything that is broken, you know, your brokenness, your barriers, your burdens, let them go. Let them go. Let them go. Miss Annie, I know I always cut you short.
She was on my best.
I always cut you short.
I had things I was broken.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You said it just hold this.
Look, I promise.
I'm sorry.
I know, but well, okay. Well, you know something. Let's well, let me. You don't have necessarily. Well, you don't have necessarily address the trust, love, and respect issue unless you want to. But well, I guess I can ask you. What are you gaining from? I know last week we talked about.
Situation.
Okay.
That's another time.
Okay.
Stay on love.
Okay. Stay on trust, love, and respect. We'll stay on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No need to change it. No need to change it. You got to leave in 3 minutes.
Mercy. Actually, since we just started to 10 after.
Yeah, we didn't talk too late.
We'll
Out of time.
Yeah, you got time.
the floor is yours for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
30 seconds. Oh, what can I think of?
Now, but how important are those components, trust, love, and respect, to you?
Well, it's very important to me. I feel that my children do love, respect. Maybe not as much as I would like for them to be,
Right.
but they do. And I was just thinking, things I used to do, especially with the children as they were growing up, especially my oldest son, because he's 5 years older than the next child. And I always had to stay on him because of the fact that he wanted to hang out. And I didn't want him to hang out because I didn't want him to do things that when they hang out on the corners. And I kept telling them, once you hang out on those corners, anything happens, they're going to pick you up as well as the other people that you're hanging out with. And then when it happened, my brother took me to the jail to get him. He said, he stayed in the car because I'll take care of this. And but anyway, my oldest son is always telling me, oh, Mom, you don't need to do this and you don't need to do that. But he would be telling me right. I was just trying to make them grow up there.
Right.
But anyway, he still tells me, because when we went last time we went to breakfast, which was for my birthday, he just sat there and told me all his problems. Well, I would say a lot of his problems.
Right.
I sat there and looked at him and he worried about it. And, well, he can work it out the best he can, but as I said, it's not much he can do because his wife hasn't found a job yet, and that's been over like a year and a half. And, things are getting hard for them. And they have one child, so, and it's a possibility of him graduating next year, so. But as long as after he got out of the problem, I had to stop having problems.
Right.
And I would say all these terrible things to him. He told me one day, Mom, you don't have to say all that to me. I said, but I want you to understand what I'm saying. It seems like you don't understand unless I do say something that's not complimentary.
Right.
He says. So after a while, he just started doing, once I called him after playing liquor from school. And had to go to school, and they took all morning up until noonday hour to find him. Where he was out playing basketball. Enrolled in all his classes, but wasn't making it. And I was murder on going to school. So anyway, when he came in the office and he saw me, what's wrong? I said, they said, stick your hand down, we'll take care of this. I said, well, I'll take care of it when he gets home. But he said, if you don't do it now, if you don't get himself into it, he won't graduate at the time that he, had fun with his class. And he did graduate with his class. In fact, he was voted the best of this and best of that. But you just have to kind of. But see, I have a daughter that I won't even get into now because my 36.
Now your two sons are policemen. policeman?
No, daughter, my two youngest, my son and my daughter.
Okay.
They're the two youngest.
Okay.
My oldest son and my daughter after him. My oldest son works for America.
Okay.
And my daughter, I don't know who she works for. I guess she's still working. I don't hear from her. That's
So you have 4 children? Okay.
two girls, two boys.
So your youngest children are police, police women. Okay.
Yeah, now that girl, she'll tell you whatever she has to tell you, and then she's through with it or not.
Doing a lot of business. Yeah.
But, we are all respectful.
Right.
And she doesn't have any children. She said the rest of them got children, and that's another thing. That was enough for her.
So she should take care of these and that.
She takes
my
care
granddaughter.
of some of these.
I know I said I'm going to promise you, and I shouldn't only, I'm not going to promise, but my intention will be for you to start the next time.
You don't forget, because see, next Monday is the first of November.
Right. We want to see you.
Well, right. So on the second Monday.
We won't see you next month.
Well, Don, any comments, questions? Sorry. Appreciate it always. Let's go and meditate.
By the way,
Yes, ma'am.
before you do, I am so proud of you because I did the job for the walk, right?
Walk away.
Cancer walk.
Oh, the girls dancing?
Yeah.
Oh, I ran that baby.
When we walk on property.
Oh, okay.
And we raise money.
Good job.
Yeah, we raised money and
Okay.
us.
Yeah, the group I work out with over at the church, we went, it was over in Hill Park Mall.
Right.
That Saturday.
Yeah.
I ran the whole race. I was surprised. I hadn't run that in a long
I think
time.
my daughter was in there, because she won those races.
Oh, really? Oh, sure.
That police officer, she does those races.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And I walked the furthest.
Okay.
I did 4 laps.
Oh, good.
And I raised it.
I did.
Raise the most money?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
What was $500 and the other $1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's real.
Because that's the important to it. I was a brother and 2 sisters. And I mean, from the time she gave me that piece of paper, I was all up to tears. I was all over the place. I heard that.
Well, good.
That's important.
Well, no, that's exciting. It's important, that's important to the world.
Yes, it
Research.
is. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
You know, that day, later that day, I went out to the gym to work out, and there was this young gentleman, I still had my shirt on, and he started asking me about it, and then he told me his story, that his mom had recently, 8 months ago, been diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and she was in the last stages now, but she had been living with him for the past 10 years, and he was, just reassuring her that she didn't need to worry about anything,
Right.
having to go to a facility, whatever she needed was going to be provided, and he felt that she was at peace, and that was all that was important to him. And I thought that was a beautiful story, that he did what he could.
Right.
He didn't wait till the last,
Right.
because she was sick, to think, oh, she might need some help.
Yeah.
He started all kinds of things, my mom needs my help, so I'm here. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, many times we wait to, and it's sort of like giving flowers before
Yeah.
their labor walks, take care of them while they have their senses,
Right.
and can express themselves. Yeah. Let's go ahead and meditate, please. Hands across your chest, arms across your chest. Deep breaths. As always, I thank you for being a part of another session, Gerocise session, taking time out of your busy schedule. Appreciate the fact that you allowed me to serve you again. It's my purpose. It's a good feeling knowing I can fulfill that purpose. Keep your eyes closed, please. Continue to meditate. Another deep breath. Sit up straight, please. As always, concentrate on your blessings, not your burdens. Think about all the blessings you've been given, that have been bestowed upon you, things that you may not necessarily deserve, but you were blessed anyway, or anyhow. Any brokenness, any barriers, any burdens, struggles, stress, strains, troubles, trials, tribulations, just discard all